Oh,
Good.
it is so beautiful.
Yeah, may I recommend others mute yourselves? If not, it's gonna pull your noise and not let Julia talk.
I gotcha. All righty. Well, thank you for having me on. This is so great. The first one was video, which was quite interesting. I know I was telling everybody my video at home was one and done because with everything that's going on, my house has never been, the kitchen has never been that clean, and I've never had not everybody in the kitchen at one time. So it was a one-shot deal, in and out. And so this is kind of fun and different, and I wanted it to be. I know so many people have so many questions about, especially nutrition. I get a ton of questions. And I have the chat on if anybody wants to ask any questions. I will start off by saying that I am a board certified holistic health coach, and I have studied over hundreds of different dietary theories. And a lot of the things that people ask me is about how I eat and what do I eat and what do you eat before you work out and what do you eat after you work out, and can you give me a list on what to eat, and just can you write me a meal plan? And I hate to burst their bubble, but everybody is different. Every body is different. So what works well for me might not work well for somebody else. So I can't give everybody the magic answers because there are really no magic answers. It's kind of just figuring out what works best for everybody else. I'm loving seeing all these people on here. So I will open it up to you. Does anybody have any questions? Hi, Kim. Hi, Diane.
I actually have a question.
Hi.
Can you hear me? So I kind of know the answer to this, but I'd love to hear your spin on it. So a lot of people drink orange juice, and they drink the kind that has no sugar added and it's just the pure orange juice. And I want to know your opinion on if you think that's a healthy drink for kids or for adults, and what your views are on that.
I think if it's an orange juice or a juice that doesn't have any added sugar in it, I think it's a great juice. It's fruit. It does have fructose in it. It's a natural sugar. But if it doesn't have any other chemicals in it, and it doesn't have any sugars in it, I think by all means. Jeff always jokes around with me that I like to have coffee in the morning. I don't need coffee. I just really like the taste of it. It just kind of like, warms up my day. He calls me, the coffee addict. And I call him the orange juice addict. He has to have orange juice every single morning. But I think if it's something that doesn't, like you said, doesn't have any sugar in it, I think orange juice is a great choice. And yes, somebody wrote, if you want orange, an orange would be the same way. But if I took an orange and I just juiced it, it would be the same thing as taking an apple and just juicing it. So a lot of people do that with juices. So, but if that's the only way you can get it, if it's quick and easy, there's a lot of grocery stores that sell just freshly squeezed orange juice. A little pricier, but for sure nothing else is added.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Miss B, did you have any questions? Beatrice, did you make those power balls?
I sure did.
I'm so happy. How'd they come out?
They came out great, and I bought some almond butter to use this time.
Oh, good. Yeah. And
the peanut butter I had nasty stuff in it. I do have one question. I have noticed that when I do have a post-workout drink, I'm not as hungry 3 hours later. Like I normally work out at night. And if I don't have something to either drink or a little snack, like a protein ball, like at 9 o'clock, I'm starving.
Well, you definitely should have something after you work out. Whether it be big or small, I always say go a little bit smaller.
Mm-hmm.
What you've done was you've taxed your muscles, you've taxed your body. So if you're eating something that's a healthy protein, protein has a job, and the job is to help to repair and to replenish. So when you're eating the protein, you've heard the terminology get shredded, right? Working out and they're getting shredded. It's actually the muscle fibers that are actually getting shredded. So whatever you're doing is it's starting to shred the muscles. And when you have protein, what it does, it helps, it repairs and rebuilds those muscles and those fibers back together again. So food is it either can hurt you or harm you. So when you're bringing in, say, a protein, whether it's a good protein, now you're really helping those muscle fibers get back together in a good format. If you're having a bad protein, something that's heavy with fat, you're taxing your body a whole nother way, and you're not using the protein in the way that it could be really affecting you or helping you, should I say.
I have a question. What's your take on muscle milk? You've seen it. Comes in a little.
I can't remember the ingredients off the top of my head. I think that there's whey protein in it, if I remember correctly.
I just drank my last one, so if not, I'd show it to you.
If you want to send me a picture, or I'll look it up and I'll send it to you privately. I haven't looked at that ingredient in a long time, but I want to say there's whey protein in it. And what whey protein does is actually, it does a bunch of not great things, but one of the things, it keeps you bloated, helps you be bloated. So I know more women care about that than men care about it. Well, I would say Jeff cares about it too. And you take on that bloating and you're trying to figure out why you're so bloated, and you think you're doing the right thing and you're working out and you're eating healthy. But if you're eating foods that are keeping you bloated and you don't know why, it's some of the ingredients that are in those drinks. I personally use something like a Vega or an Orgain that's got like a pea protein in it.
Okay.
Oh, your best bet is to always just stick with a really clean protein. You know, if you were to make, say, a homemade smoothie with your almond butter and peanut butter and, say, almond milk, that's all you really need. You wanted to throw some hemp seeds in there or flax seeds in there, you're just adding more protein on there, and you know exactly what's in the shake. You don't even need to buy anything. You can do it all at home.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I like liquid eggs and cheddar all cooked in the microwave format. Sandwich. Oh, that's cute. All right, so I like liquid eggs and cheddar cheese and a couple of turkey sausage patties, all cooked in the microwave for 2 minutes on one side, 2 minutes on the other, in a special plastic microwave. I also put the eggs on a bread and call it a sandwich. I call it yum. Is all that cheese okay? I mean, a lot of cheese. Too funny. All right, so liquid eggs is totally fine. Egg is controversial. I personally don't eat it. I have a very long history of heart disease in my family, so I just personally make a choice not to eat it. But somebody who, if you have heart health history, heart disease in your family, you might want to just reduce the amount of eggs in your weekly diet. So if you're eating eggs every single day, I would suggest maybe cut it down to 2-3 times a day. The liquid eggs, is it a white egg? I don't know, is it the white ones? And the cheddar cheese, again, it depends on what kind of cheddar cheese is. Is it pure natural cheese, or is it the one that's coming out of the bag, or the ones that sit on the shelf? Because those all have preservatives in them. My favorite thing is seeing cheese on an aisle that's not even being refrigerated. You know that there is an issue there. So again, look at the ingredients. If it's just cheese in the ingredients, that's totally fine. Again, it looks dependent what you're doing for your overall health. If you're looking to try and lose weight, I would try and reduce some of the cheese. You don't mention what type of bread. The liquid eggs are yellow, but it comes from the coloring. And yellow in the cheese. Yeah. Okay, so these are all fun questions. All right, I'll get to the veggies in a second. So they'll go back to the eggs and the cheese thing. If you're gonna make it, let me see if I can just, if you like that, let me see if I can just make it a little bit healthier for you. If you got a bread that wasn't white bread, and if you got a bread that actually had some nutrients in it for you, because white bread does absolutely nothing for you. Again, food can hurt or food can help, your choice. White does nothing for you. It just gives you a lot of white sugar. It gives you a quick stream of energy, and then you crash. And then if you're not using up all of that energy, it gets stored as fat. So I would choose a bread that can actually do something for you. Pick anything that's got a color to it. Multigrain, rye, whole wheat. Let's make the bread work for you. I'm okay with the eggs. I'm thinking that you're saying that they're yellow eggs. They're probably just because it's from the yolk. So I think that that liquid egg is fine. Whole grain bread, awesome. The cheddar cheese, if it's, again, look at what ingredient it is, read the ingredients. And I would probably, in this day and age, I would probably maybe try and choose an organic cheese if you possibly could. I know it's a couple of cents more, but in the long run, you'll know that a lot of things aren't, you know, shut up, and it's a little bit more natural than some of the cheeses that are on the shelf. I'm hoping I answered your question. And if you eat it every day, I suggest maybe cut it down, maybe like 4 times a day. Or add some vegetables to it. How about add like some spinach to it, or a slice of tomato? Let's get some fruit and veggies in there as well. Benjamin, I hope I answered your question. Alrighty. Hi, Joy. Hate veggies. Any advice to eat healthy veggies? Ooh, somebody's seeing the sandwich. It's rocking. I love it. Now I have to actually see the sandwich. Somebody send me a picture of this cheese and egg sandwich. Healthy veggies. So when I work with, it's not often that I find adults that don't like vegetables. I mean, vegetables is actually a wide variety of food. So are you not liking green vegetables or just all vegetables? And if I have somebody that doesn't like vegetables, I'm not a big proponent of giving out supplements, but there are some supplements out there that actually help bridge that gap of fruit and vegetables. Also, sometimes those shakes mask fruit and vegetables. If you were to have like, I don't know, say a green smoothie that has apples and pears in it, and the green is, you can't even taste it because the fruit really kind of overtakes it. Okay, and then the fruit, I'm trying to find out what, who asked me that? Somebody who asked me about vegetables. You don't like vegetables, but I need to know what kind. I hate veggies.
It was Lewis.
Lewis, okay. I need to know what kind of veggies, because there's such a wide variety. If he doesn't like any greens, so one of the things that you could do is actually also bake with it too. My kids, I would get my zucchini from a vegetable farm box all the time. And I never knew what to do with all the zucchini, and the kids, every time I made it for them, they would throw it away. And I found a way to actually make zucchini bread. And I think I actually brought the zucchini muffins to Horner. It's a great way to hide them. Zucchini and yellow squash and carrots. I mean, you don't have to eat it, but it has a lot of phytonutrients. It has a lot of minerals in it that's really actually very cleansing and detoxing. Some of the products out there, that's a decent one that I like to help people bridge until they find a way that they do like vegetables, would be like a Juice Plus has a fruit gummy or a veggie gummy. Those are things I recommend to the kids until their taste buds change. And I would try and say maybe play around with it. If there's something that you don't really hate but kind of just don't like, maybe find ways that you could play around in the kitchen to incorporate them, or maybe even cook them with one of the proteins that you're making. I hope I answered.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I like oatmeal as it happens to brunch at 11 and 3. I like oatmeal as it happens to be brunch at 11. Benjamin, what time do you wake up that you're eating at 11? All right, what you're writing to me about oatmeal and all of that doesn't really seem bad. I'm just wondering when it seems like you're just eating so late at night. So if one of the things that you're looking to do is possibly lose weight, I don't know what any of your goals are, but you're kind of eating really late at night and then you're not burning off any of that energy. And overnight, what happens is if you don't use that energy, it gets stored as fat. And if you're eating in the morning, all right, is that a healthy cream? 50-50 cream. Oh, that's nice. Good job. So he's lost some weight. That's awesome. If that seems to be working for you, if that food schedule seems to be working for you, then have at it. I'm not rocking the boat. Small little things that I would change. I mean, if you're working so much that you can eat a meal for 2 and you're still burning it off, that's great. A 50-50 cream has a little fat in it, but good fat, healthy fat is good for you. Again, I would make sure the cream, in my opinion, would be organic. And if you're getting up at like 8 in the morning, the only thing is so for us, if you're trying to lose weight, your body is like a furnace. It's like a fireplace. And the way to keep the fire going is to always keep stoking it. So if one of the things that you're looking to do is to lose weight, which it looks like you're already losing weight, is to continually stoke the fire. And it doesn't have to be right away. A breakfast is just your breaking fast in the morning, but most people need that in the morning, whether it's a banana or a glass of orange juice or something to start that metabolism to start going. But if you think that if that's working for you, have all at it. David, color breads I notice have higher calorie counts than some white. Does that matter? The colored breads, so I would choose a bread that is from, if you're shop at Publix, I'm a Publix shopper, but the bakeries at the grocery store actually don't have any preservatives in the food. The breads that you find on the regular bread aisle, they all have preservatives in them. So the calorie is an energy. So sometimes you will find that it might have a little bit of a higher calorie depending on if it's like a 12 seed bread, because it actually has some protein in it. It has some good things in it for you. I wouldn't be too discouraged about that. My first and foremost thing would be, number one, is to read ingredients. I'm an ingredient reader. I read the ingredients. I make sure that there's no preservatives in it. There's no high fructose corn syrup. There's no hydrogenated oils in it. And if I can pronounce everything in it, I'm buying it. I make sure there's not enriched wheat. And I don't buy any of the things that are on the bread aisle. I buy the stuff from the Publix bakery or the bakery itself, because they have much more nutrients in it. I hope that answered your question. Let me make sure I get to all of them. But Benjamin, congratulations. That's awesome. What do you think about keto? I don't have enough time to talk about keto. I'm not a fan, personally. Again, what works for you, if it's working for you, that's great. I don't want to, discourage anybody. Personally, for me, I think when people go on a diet, they come off a diet. So it's on, it's off. If you think about it, all the diets that have been presented to us, all of the things that have been presented to us about diets, they all have really great components. There's good components, there are bad components. Some of them tell you to drink a lot of water. Yes, you should always drink a lot of water. Some would say exercise 3 times, a week. Of course, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. But then they do some crazy stuff. And I think what you, Anthony, nothing's working for me. Well, what I would love to do, if you'd like to talk offline one time, is I'll continue my liquid grapes. I love antioxidants. A bottle of antioxidants are great for me too. What I would say to you, Anthony, is that if you want to, I'd love to work with you one-on-one. My approach personally is I teach people how food works in the body. I think education is key. If you know, so carbs, fat, and protein. I love all the different new diets that come out. They want to eliminate one of them. And what people are forgetting is that carbs and protein and fat are all macronutrients. They're a large nutrient. And they're a large nutrient because they're so important for your body. They all have a role. They all play a role. And if you eliminate one of them, your body suffers. Because every body is different, what you need to do is to figure out how each one works best in your body. And it's a game. And it's figuring out, and it's trying some of this and taking some of this out. Personally, what I try and do is I try and crowd in somebody's diet with very healthy food. I do baby steps. Let's try this food. Let's try this food group. Let's try this food group. And once they start finding the things that they like, they'll forget that all of a sudden they're starting to crowd out some of the bad stuff. They don't realize that they're no longer eating the crappy things for them. And it is a journey. It's a life journey. Nobody gets there. Nobody's there. I'm not there. Nobody gets there. Our bodies keep evolving. Our bodies keep changing. I'm hitting in premenopause at this point. This is a lot of fun. So it's just trying to figure out your body as life goes on, and that's it. And if you think that you've gotten there, you're wrong, because your body will change. You know, the 25-year-olds that think they can eat everything, and one day all of a sudden wait a minute, I could lose 5 pounds by drinking all this water in 2 days and get into a dress, and you hit 30 and you realize that doesn't happen. And the same thing at 40, and now that I'm in my 50s, that all changes too. So it's all about education and figuring out what works best for each individual person. But Rosa, I am with you. I will have liquid grapes with you all day long. Antioxidants, all great. I'm in. Are there any best sweeteners, especially for coffee? Is it better just to have a bit of raw sugar? Absolutely. I am to add anything to a drink, whether it be a tea, a coffee, tea or coffee really. I make iced tea for the kids. Would be a natural pure sugar. I am not a fan. I'm not opposed to stevia. I personally just don't like the taste. I rather take something in its natural form, which is sugar. Take an organic sugar and use that. The white sugar is really very highly processed. So if anybody bakes or anybody cooks, if they've ever used white sugar as opposed to natural raw sugar, I'm telling you now, when you go to the natural raw sugar, you can use less because it's not as highly processed and it's actually much sweeter. So I use a raw sugar. I use a natural turbinado sugar. So I go for real food, hands down, every day of the week. I am not I try to supplement with unnatural things. I hope I answered your question. That was fun. All right.
This was great. Thank you, Julia. I learned.
A lot of you guys have some really great questions. Benjamin, Anthony, Diane, thank you so much for putting those questions out there. I really appreciate it because I know a lot of people have questions like that all the time. While I know a lot, I don't know everything. And that's why I personally just just try and teach people how food works in their body, and then we can work it out together and see how that best fits for you personally. So I hope I answered everybody's questions. I really appreciate you having me on today. Benjamin, Anthony, anybody, if you guys want to work one-on-one, I'd be happy to type in my phone number. I'm on campus on Mondays and Wednesdays, and I Zoom my sessions as well. And I just want to thank Kim and Diane and all of the marketing team for having me on. I really appreciate it. You guys are doing an amazing job. Thank you.